What we have here is an article from Maclean's magazine from Canada. We have a deranged Hong Kong guy over here, young man, early 20s, just graduate from university a few years within the last 10 years when he fled Hong Kong, went to Canada. So you can see his picture over here. It says, I can see a life for myself here. No, you don't. Not when you pay $1,000 to rent a bedroom in a shared condo with a bunch of other people, and not for long. It's gonna get jacked up to $2,000. Even local people who make $2,000, $100,000 a year, they struggle and they get evicted, struggle to have a roof over their head and just to get by with the basic necessities. So this guy says, I can see a life here. That's just false news. Maclean's magazine. What is Maclean's magazine famous for? If you've been in Canada long enough, like what I have been, this guy's clearly fresh off the boat. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's check here. What's Maclean's magazine famous for? So if you're a Chinese guy who's been in Canada for basically your whole life, born in Canada, you've been following the news like I have. It says so in 2010. So back in 2010, I was still in university, young man, like around 21 probably. So they had a magazine article that was called Maclean's Two Asian Controversy. So the original title of this article in Maclean's magazine was Too Asian. It basically stated that Chinese people or Asian people are the Jews of Canada because they're high achieving minorities. But the real problem over here is that they're equating Asians with Chinese people. So when they talk about Asian people flooding universities like U of T, UBC, and McGill, they only take out statistics about Chinese people. So they're saying Chinese equals Asian. That's false news. So they take out a bunch of statistics about ethnic Chinese people who are enrolled in the top 5 universities of Canada, for example. But then they just say, oh, Asian people are taking over. But where's the statistics about Japanese, Korean, Filipinos, Vietnamese, and whatever people? So just because Chinese people are successful in terms of education, they're just saying, oh, Asian people, this and that. But that's false news, and they don't take into consideration if somebody's born in Canada or Canadian citizen or an international student. They just group everybody into one group. This is just anti-Asian racism and xenophobia. They refused. So it's Maclean's magazine's owned by Rogers Communication, one of the big telecom companies and TV cable providers in Canada. They refused to apologize, even though the Chinese Canadian National Congress tried negotiating with them. This is inappropriate. There was no appreciation for the hurt feelings of Chinese people or Asian people, and all they did was change the title to make it sound a little nicer, but the article remained the same. So Maclean's magazine over here, and now this fake Hong Kong trader here, Calvin Wong, he thinks Maclean's magazine is his friend and goes on a rant about how good Canada is compared to Hong Kong. But this is just false news, fake news, because if you're paying $1,000 for just one bedroom, I don't see that as seeing a life for myself or anyone. So yeah, let's go in this article here. Vancouver Sun, about this woman here. She works in the film industry, makes over $100,000 a year, Canadian dollars, but she struggles as well. She struggles with her income. So they had a screenwriters or like a writer strike. Who people who write script for movies, they went on strike for a few months, and she couldn't afford her to rent the place that she's renting because everything's just so expensive. Rent, food, basic necessities, that there's not a lot of opportunity or wiggle room. You can't save a lot after you pay rent, utilities, groceries, and gas and whatever. So this guy, loser Hong Kong, Mr. Fake Hong Kong here, makes like $2,000 or $3,000 doing his part-time menial job. So he pays like a 33% of his income to rent a shared condo, and I just don't see how this is a good living standard. This is just deranged. These guys just needs a reality check over here, and he gets picked on by the government of Canada as well. Let's see what it says here. Stream B, I talked about this in my previous video. Stream B requires 12 months of full-time Canadian work experience plus a post-secondary degree from the past 3 years. My graduation date missed the cutoff date. Oh, whoops. Canada isn't your dreamland now. So yeah, this is just a bunch of deranged morons. Young people from Hong Kong don't appreciate what they have in terms of having a state, in terms of living in a positive Chinese society where people don't get screwed over from bureaucracy. Don't get me started about the bureaucracy and just how inefficient government is, or doing anything with basically everything in terms of Canada is inefficient compared to Hong Kong. Hong Kong government services, banking services are superior compared to what you find in Canada. For example, if somebody were to file a patent, it's been 3 years. I filed a patent in Canada. It's been over 3 years, and nothing really got done. But 3 months in Hong Kong in terms of patent filing, for example, is the same thing as 3.5 years in Canada. So people can get their patent approved and published on the website, on the Hong Kong Patent Office website, and examined within 3 to 4 months. And it'd take another like a year or two to get final proof of no objections. But in Canada, it's been 3.5 years and nothing gets done other than your patent application getting published on the website. So yeah, nothing gets done in Canada. It doesn't matter. Healthcare, education, K-12 or university, housing, driver licensing services, visa services, getting a passport, everything in Canada is slow, but in Hong Kong, everything is fast.